Venus and the Dream of Luminara. On a quiet night, when the world had slowed to a gentle whisper, little Venus lay in her bed, wrapped in soft blankets. The room was dim, but not dark. Just enough light from the moon slipped through the window, painting silver patterns across her walls. Above her, a small star-shaped lamp glowed softly, like a sleepy constellation watching over her. Her mother sat beside her, gently brushing her hair back with warm, loving hands. "Sweet dreams, my little star," she whispered. Venus smiled sleepily. "Good night, Mama." Her mother leaned down, kissed her forehead, and quietly walked toward the door. Just before leaving, she turned back with a soft smile. A warm light from the hallway spilled gently into the room before the door closed with a quiet click. Now, everything was still. Venus took a slow breath, then another. Her eyes grew heavier and heavier, and just as she was about to fall asleep, something shimmered. At the foot of her bed, tiny particles of light began to gather. Soft, glowing sparks danced in the air, swirling slowly like fireflies carried by a silent breeze. The light grew brighter and softer at the same time. And then it took shape. A unicorn stood before her. Its coat was the deep blue of the night sky, filled with tiny glowing stars that shimmered with every gentle movement. Its mane flowed like silk, drifting as if touched by an invisible wind. At the center of its forehead, a delicate horn glowed with a calm, steady light. The unicorn's eyes were kind. "Hello, Venus," it said softly, its voice like a quiet breeze. Venus slowly sat up, her heart full, not with fear, but with a warm, peaceful wonder. "You're real," she whispered. The unicorn lowered its head slightly. "My name is Luminara. I have come to invite you." "Invite me?" Venus asked. "To a dream," said Luminara. "A very special one." Venus looked at her, curious. "What kind of dream?" "The kind that lives inside your heart," Luminara replied gently. She stepped closer and extended her head. "Will you come with me?" Venus hesitated for just a moment, then reached out her hand. As soon as her fingers touched Luminara's soft mane, the world dissolved. Venus found herself standing in a vast, glowing valley. The sky above was painted in shades of lavender, gold, and soft pink. The air shimmered gently, filled with tiny, floating lights. Crystal-like trees swayed slowly, making delicate musical sounds as they moved. "It's beautiful," Venus breathed. "This is Lumora Valley," said Luminara, "a place where calm and magic live together." Suddenly, a small creature hopped out from behind a glowing bush. It looked like a tiny bunny, but its ears were made of soft light, shimmering like ribbons. "This is Pirilti," said Luminara. Pirilti bounced happily around Venus, leaving behind a trail of sparkling dust. It made a tiny chiming sound, like a distant bell. Venus giggled. "Hello, Pirilti." Above them, a graceful shape moved through the sky. A large bird glided down slowly, its wings transparent like glass. Each flap sent ripples of rainbow colors across the air. "That's Seraphim," said Luminara, "guardian of the skies." Seraphim circled them once, then bowed gently before soaring upward again. Venus felt light, almost like she could float. "We have a small journey ahead," said Luminara. Venus looked up. "What kind of journey?" "In the heart of this valley," Luminara explained, "there is a lake of light. It keeps everything in balance. But tonight, its glow has faded." Venus's expression softened. "Why?" "Sometimes," Luminara said gently, "even magical worlds forget how to be still." Venus nodded slowly. "Can I help?" Luminara smiled. "You already are." Venus climbed onto Luminara's back, holding onto her soft, flowing mane. They moved forward. Perilti hopped alongside them, and Seraphim glided above. They passed fields of glowing flowers that swayed gently in the breeze. "What are these?" Venus asked. "Sleep flowers," said Luminara. "They sing lullabies to the world." Venus listened carefully. The flowers hummed softly, their melody slow and soothing. It made her feel warm inside. Further along, they reached a glowing river. The water shimmered like liquid light, and inside it swam tiny, luminous fish. "These are Luma fish," said Luminara. One of them floated closer to Venus and released a small droplet of light into her hand. Venus gasped softly. "What is this?" "A drop of calm," said Luminara. "Keep it with you." The tiny light pulsed gently in Venus's palm. At last, they reached the lake of light. It was still beautiful, but something was missing. Its glow was faint. The surface barely shimmered. Venus stepped closer, her heart feeling a quiet sadness. "How do we fix it?" she asked. Luminara lowered her head. "Not with force, not with noise." Venus looked up. "With calm," Luminara whispered. Venus took a deep breath. She closed her eyes. She remembered her mother's voice, the warmth of her bed, the feeling of being safe and loved. The tiny light in her hand began to glow brighter. Around her, everything became still. Perilti sat quietly. Seraphim folded its wings. Even the wind seemed to rest, and slowly, the lake responded. A ripple formed, then another. Soft waves of light spread across the surface. The glow returned, stronger, warmer, brighter than before. Venus opened her eyes. "It's shining again," she whispered. Luminara nodded. "Because you remembered." The light rose from the lake, floating into the sky. One by one, it became stars. The sky deepened into a peaceful, glowing night. Venus smiled. "Are those memories?" she asked. "Yes," said Luminara. "Moments of calm." Venus looked up. "Do I have one?" Luminara gently touched her forehead with her glowing horn. "You have many." Venus felt warmth spread through her chest, but now her eyes were growing heavy again. "I think I'm sleepy," she murmured. Luminara smiled softly. "Then it's time to rest." The journey back was slow and gentle. The flowers sang softer. Perilti hopped more quietly. Seraphim glided like a whisper across the sky. And soon, Venus was back in her bed. Her room was just as she had left it, but Luminara stood beside her one last time. "Will I see you again?" Venus asked softly. "Whenever you remember your calm," Luminara said, "I will be near." Venus smiled. "Good night, Luminara." "Good night, Venus." The unicorn slowly dissolved into light and faded away. Morning came gently. Sunlight filled the room. Venus opened her eyes. Everything looked the same. But something felt different. In her hand, there was still a faint warmth, like a tiny light that never fully disappeared. Venus smiled softly, because now she knew the most magical places don't always exist somewhere far away. Sometimes they begin the moment you close your eyes.